Today we have Steve Friend here on the set, a member of this Emory Henry football team, and Steve plays wide receiver on the team. Steve, you've been here for 4 years now. What kind of relationships have you formed on this team?
A lot of them are real strong, especially with the senior class, of course, because, we all came in together, and being in Hillman whenever you first get here, everybody's right there. But, football just helps bond you guys together because it's just the stuff you do, the off season, the band workouts, and especially the senior class. We did stuff like dog soldiers.
Dog soldiers in the morning.
The shockers at 6 a.m. in the first semester when we got here. Those definitely bonded us together because you go through a lot with that stuff.
So how did you get here? Talk a little bit about how you came from high school football to here, and what sold you to Emory and Henry. And was it the coaching staff or?
Well, first I was getting recruited by some schools, a lot of Pennsylvania and things like that, and I hadn't even heard from this school when I was getting close to time about making my decision. But Rob Grande, the now defensive coordinator here, actually went to my high school, like back in the day, and played with one of the coaches that that coached me in high school, and called me and was like, "Yeah, I see you went to the same high school. I went there," and talked to me. He was like, "Yeah, you should look at Emory and Henry," and came down for a visit. I really liked the campus and just the atmosphere, and my parents could tell there was something different, like down here. Whenever I was visiting here, that was something different than all the other colleges I went to. It was a little more open, and so after I visited here, about a week later, I was like, "All right, yeah, I think Emory and Henry's for me." So picked to go here.
It looks like you made the right decision. How has what you've learned here on and off the field helped you, do you think, prepare you for life?
A lot of stuff will help me in life. The WASP Advantage plan that they have here, that the football team has implemented, is great for keeping people organized, and just it helps you get in the mindset that you really have to be organized to do well. And with things such as, like, I haven't started a single game in my career, but it's one of those where you got to learn to fight for everything you can do. And just, in the job world, nothing's going to be given to you, so you're going to have to be able to fight to get a job, get whatever you want. So I've learned that through all 4 years.
Right. Well, when you came in, it was a little bit rough and tumble. Coach Montgomery's first season here was 1-9. And how has it changed since then? And how do you think this senior class will be viewed? Have you set the tone for, like, better things to come?
Whenever we first got here, there was just a totally different feel with the team. Like the upper class, like they had talent, but it was one of those where they led on the field with how they played and their stats from the past, but off the field you didn't really see them. They didn't really have, like, the great GPAs, things like that. They were just kind of there. But with our senior class, we've got great talent on the field, and we've got, I don't even know how many guys that have over 3.0 GPA. Just show that you accomplish on the field and off the field.
And what about last year? Last year was a little bit of a setback because you guys had the violation, I know. How big of a comeback was it to come back this year and really stick it to a bunch of teams in the ODAC, and when you were picked last, in the preseason poll, and to finish out 6-4?
It was pretty nice. We don't really think about how they pick us in the beginning of the season because we know what we can do, and we knew what our expectations were, and we expected to do good, and we actually expected to do better than we ended up doing, but towards the end of the season, we did come together to where we feel it's going to be real good coming. And that senior leadership is what helps develop that. So.
And you guys made a quarterback change mid-season too. How do you think that helped out the offense? And you could talk about the differences between the two different quarterbacks that Emory used. Some positive things they brought to the field.
I think a lot of it was consistency. We got a little more consistent on offense, but we did also start out with a new offensive coordinator this season. Our offensive coordinator from last season got married and ended up leaving. And so we only had the spring to get this offense down. Once the season got further along, you could tell that we were just getting more comfortable with it. And after that, like, each game we started developing and getting more cohesive, and ended up to what you saw in the Gopher game, which was
right.
a good offensive showing for us.
A four-way tie for the first place in the ODAC. One more thing, Steve, before I let you go. Could you paint us a picture, kind of, draw the portrait out here of what your favorite moment at E&H was on the football field throughout your entire career here, if there was one?
The W&L win this year was pretty special because I'd never been in overtime, but definitely had to be the Bridgewater game our sophomore year because they were ranked, I believe it was like 18th in the country that year. And we came, fourth quarter drive, drove it down the field and scored with like a minute left or something like that. And to beat the number 18 team in the nation, that's something that doesn't happen very often. So.
Yeah, it's a good thing to remember.
Yeah, it was definitely a good experience.